All right, everybody, what's up? We're here on an episode 17 of Queen City Reds. We got a special guest today. We got Jay Allen II here with us. Jay Allen II, for those of you who don't know, he was the Reds' 30th overall draft pick in the 2021 draft out of high school. He's been with the Dragons for a couple seasons now. Jay, thanks for coming on today. Appreciate having you on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
Cool. So let's get into some questions. So obviously the big thing at first is you guys had a just an awesome season down in Dayton. I think you made the playoffs for the first time since 2017. I know we talked throughout the season a couple times, and you kind of touched on how fun you guys were having and just what a great group of guys that you had down there. Just get into sort of what the season was like and how much fun it was and making the playoffs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and the season was great. Just being around those guys, guys that want to work hard and want to improve their game and just get better every day. And we kind of brought that energy each and every day. And it started with Vihey, our manager, which he did a great job of rallying us all together, knowing that we were a young group and knowing that the age was kind of going to be maybe not a downfall, but something that could play into baseball games there. So like the true focus was just trying to prepare each and every day as like as a big leaguer and just trying to be as focused as possible in that aspect. So everybody bought in and it was great.
Yeah, I mean the when you guys clinched the playoffs, the locker room celebrations looked pretty incredible. I'm
Yeah.
sure that was a blast.
Yeah, yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Something I can get used to for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, good stuff there. And then just from you kind of personally, from a player standpoint, you obviously started the year off pretty much just on fire. And then the kind of the middle season kind of struggled to a little bit, and then the end of the season you were right back to kind of where you started the season at. So I guess my question there is that do you consider that just part of baseball? You know, it's a long season and you go through some ups and downs, or when you're going through slumps like sometimes you do, and everybody goes through slumps in baseball at some point. You know, Aaron Judge has been struggling in the postseason. He's the best hitter on the planet. Um, are you guys making adjustments mid-season, like mechanically, or do you try to avoid that and do it in the off season, or just how's that kind of work, I guess?
Yeah, it was good to get off to a good start and kind of try to make up some room of me being injured and stuff like that. It was really fun baseball at that point. Obviously, when you scuffle and when you get to struggle and you're not having that much success, you just kind of try to look on the outside of how things are going. How are you making your outs? What is going on? Are you swinging and missing? Is it something mechanically that you need to adjust, or is it something mentally? So the things that kind of we worked out is just trying to be able to make better outs and just be more mindful of the good things you can take away from an AB. Obviously, there's a couple line outs in there that you can't get too upset at, but those are things that with young hitters and stuff like that can kind of push those stretches a little bit further, just because you're scratching for that hit or that knock to trying to kind of give that sigh of relief and everything. But you just kind of got to take that as a grain of salt and take it as a win. Hard contact is a win, and that's kind of the focus point of that time where I was kind of scuffling was just taking my small wins, taking my walks, being able to get on base, and kind of be productive in other ways defensively and stuff like that. But mechanically, we really try not to do much mechanically. It's kind of just a lot more mental because obviously sometimes your body gets tired and you're going at it every day, but if you can stay mentally locked in and just try to make it less about my body doesn't feel good. Well, you really never really feel good until besides the first day of spring training. So
Yeah,
you can push that out of the window. So
especially the
it's
way
really
you play.
yeah, yeah. So we're just trying to at that point we were just trying to kind of mentally just focus in and hone in on just having quality ABs, and I think it kind of maybe it went a little bit further, and that's the thing I'm going to work through and try to get it back on track sooner. But for the most part, we got it back on track at the right point in time, and we're able to make a playoff push.
Yeah, that's good stuff there. I think that's kind of it's interesting to, hear the mind of, a hitter going through a slump because baseball's a hard game. I mean, if you're
Yeah,
3 for 10, if you're 3 for 10, you're a Hall of Famer, which is
yeah,
crazy. Most sports aren't like
exactly.
that. Um, so you hit on one thing, and I didn't prepare you for this question, so apologize in advance. But you hit
No
on kind of
problem.
the mental part of it. Um, and I guess from that standpoint, is that something like through the long season and it's baseball is such a grind? Do you find yourself like having to do different things throughout the season to kind of, keep the grind and keep mentally strong and not just like go through the motions? And then
Yeah.
if you do, like what is that? What do you guys try to do and how do you find different ways to go about that? Because it's obviously, I mean, I remember when I played, summer baseball and we played every day in like the month of July when I was in high school. I was like, this is a lot. And it was like 30 straight games, uh let alone a major league or minor league baseball season.
Yeah, we try to different guys take different approaches to everything. A lot of guys like to kind of decompress when they get away from baseball, like just separate the field from what they do at home. Kind of guys kind of just don't like to think about baseball sometimes. A lot of guys, which most of my teammates love to think about baseball. We talk about it all the time. So um, the thing that I found that kind of helps me mentally, and I kind of use this strategy with going into the postseason and going into those last 3 4 weeks was just a lot of envisioning of success, a lot of like just going into a quiet room, closing my eyes for like 10 minutes and just allowing myself to just be in the moment, kind of see pitches before they kind of come, or if you want to say just envisioning a lot of different outcomes and envisioning the shape of a slider, envisioning the shape of a fastball up in the zone or stuff like that. And I think it kind of calmed me down a little bit from being so antsy of wanting to perform so well to kind of just taking a deep breath, stepping back and like when I get in there, I feel like okay, I've already done this before, and it's just like another day, just like I've already taken like 10 ABs, 15 ABs in my head before this game, and it kind of looks the same. So it kind of showed me a different way of learning about myself and a different way of instilling confidence in myself towards the end of the season.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good stuff there. All right, so the season ends. Kind of take Reds fans through, when the season ends, you guys are out of the playoffs, and then all of a sudden you're basically some people probably go back home, I'm guessing. Some people go different places where they have trainings. Do you meet with the organization? I'm sure you have some kind of exit meeting. Do they give you kind of like a plan of, hey, here's what you should work on in the off season? How's that kind of work? Because obviously the season kind of ends abruptly, especially after a playoff run, and then it's like, okay, you're kind of on your own for the off season, but I'm sure they give you some kind of plan to, hey, here's some things to work on, that type of thing.
Right. Yeah, we start those exit meetings pretty early. About the last month of the season, we kind of get into those, and they
Okay.
call guys in, and we'll go through our plan, just a sheet of paper, and they'll go into depth about that, and what we kind of are good at, what we kind of feel like we need to improve on to become a better baseball player, and it's just all from strength and conditioning to defense to hitting to like base running and all that stuff. Like it touches on every single part of that. So we get all that information, and then obviously we finish the season, and then we get out of there pretty quickly. Like it happens like really the next day. I was back home like that next morning, like 12 a.m. I landed at home, but it happened so fast. You just kind of decompress. You kind of get like a little grace period through that. But so far, it's just at that point, the off season is just about being a professional. Just working through what you feel like you need to get better at, and everybody has their different guys that they go to and work out with, and getting with those guys. So I took about 3 weeks off to kind of let my body relax and recuperate, and then I hopped on another program for strength and conditioning, and just starting to hit it 2 times a week and stuff like that. So it kind of you get a little bit of break, but then you just kind of don't want to, if you feel like you could have worked on some things, or if you're used to just hopping right back in it and working on mobility and working on something you feel like you could have got better at. It just depends on the baseball player at that point.
Yeah, makes sense. Good stuff. Is there any one thing that you want to focus on the most in the off season, or one thing you're trying to get that you really want to improve at this off season?
Yeah, obviously, I'm just kind of obviously going back to the weight room and figure some things out there. Not searching, but obviously, I think I was sitting at like 205 this year, which was great. I felt great. My body felt great throughout all the year, but maybe toning it down a little bit, getting around 200 back to 195 and in that range, being a little bit more flexible and being able to move a little bit better, get the make sure my muscles are twitching how they should be. And then mostly I'm just gonna kind of hit on kind of just the inside of just being a hitter, just trying to better my hitting ability, try to better if I do fall into a slump again, which it'll probably happen because baseball, that's how baseball works. But
Yeah.
just being able to recoup a little bit faster, be able to get myself back on track a little bit faster, and not allow my body to break down and have to search for so many things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't mention it. I meant to mention it earlier, but I mean, it was awesome to see you healthy all season. Obviously, you've had some bad luck with injuries. Did you kind of feel pretty good about being able to play most of the season after, starting off your career with kind of really just some bad luck injuries, it seems?
Yeah, yeah, it was great. This is like basically my first full year besides the going into 22, and I still missed like a month and a week there, but it felt great. It I just I was thankful for the staff and thankful for my strength and conditioning guy for just staying on us and make sure my body was right for the whole season, and it shows that when you work in the off season, you're able to stay healthy and stay on the field. So it was amazing.
Yeah, that's great. All right, so switching gears a little bit, I kind of wanted to think about some questions of like what Reds fans or what baseball fans don't kind of see, especially those who follow minor league baseball. So when you guys go on like a road trip, I know for minor league baseball, a lot of times you'll play like 6 games against the team instead of the typical like 3 games like major leaguers. And a lot of times you're taking buses and can you kind of walk us through like what a road trip looks like and then what, game days kind of look like and what do you have any free time when you're out there or is it kind of just like bus, field, hotel, sleep, back to the bus? Just kind of walk us through, road trips and then kind of how game days work. Cause I think that's just kind of a thing that, we all just, people are fans of minor league baseball and we watch the games, but like, you don't think of like the grind. You're not on private planes like major leaguers, and I'm sure you're not in
Yeah.
5-star hotels and that type of thing. So I just wanted to get some insight on, how that looks and how you guys spend that time, et cetera.
Yeah. So coming off, so let's say we're at a 6 game home series. So we're at Day Air Ballpark, and then depends on the travel that next day. Like if we're going to Iowa or something, we'll probably leave that night and make a make a better road trip out of it. Besides leaving on that Monday or so, we'll leave that night. Um, Probably stop somewhere, grab some food, stuff like that, and then we'll go through all the way. Get there Monday, hang out. If we have that time, we can kind of hang out because we don't have a game until Tuesday.
Yeah, makes
But
sense.
very typical road series are leave on the leave on that morning of the Tuesday, and then get to the field right away. Probably don't stop at the hotel, and then go through pregame stretch. We get there around 2, go through like stretching, mobility, and then kind of have the hitting groups. We'll get the on field time after the home team gets the field time, and then play that game that night. And it kind of just goes through that week, that exact same kind of schedule where we might get a late arrival day. Maybe depends on like how everything's been going, but most of the time it's just we get to the field around 3 o'clock, and then go through stretching, make sure you get your movement prep done, and then we line up hitters meetings, defense on field BP, and then get all that rolling. But most of the time, we do have a little bit of leeway in the morning and stuff like that. If the games most of the time the games are at 7,
Yeah.
so that kind of makes it a little bit tougher because we're getting back to the hotel at 11 p.m. So most of the guys use the morning to sleep. Some guys
Sleep
might
in.
go
I was
get
gonna say,
breakfast.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna sleep in.
Yeah. I don't
I'm gonna
blame you.
sleep in with our DoorDash some stuff. But yeah, that's normally typical. And then throughout the 6 months that we're on the road, that's how it works.
Yeah, that's just interesting to hear some of those, behind the scenes thing because it's again you're playing baseball, but again it's such a you're constantly on the road in your hotels and it's not the private plane lifestyle. So
Right.
are you guys pretty much always is it pretty much always bus rides? Do you guys fly anywhere?
No, I don't believe we fly anywhere until AAA. But I think AA might get sleeper buses maybe every once in a while, depending on how long the road trip is. But for us in high A, it was just we got 2 buses, and one of them was like kind of one of them was a charter bus, and the other one was like a road bus, kind of like a couple seats in the back and stuff like that. Guys playing cards,
Yeah, that
how all
was going to
that
be
works.
my next question. On the bus, does everyone kind of keep to themselves, or are guys playing cards, kind of doing whatever, watching movies type of thing?
Well, we kind of have to, the charter bus is for the guys that want to chill and watch movies and stuff like that, and the travel bus is for the guys that like playing cards, the guys that like we throw on some baseball games and stuff like that on the TV, so they have some TVs on there for us. So we just watch TV, throw on some cards, and just hang out. It's just
Yeah,
one
you get
big
to know each
hangout.
other real well throughout the season, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, we definitely do. We do.
That's awesome. All right, so during the season, I guess we kind of talked on this a little bit, but how you guys make adjustments, and how coaching staff kind of talks you through slumps or talks you through making changes. Do you guys hear, in the minor league level, do you hear from anyone in like higher up in the Reds organization about certain things, or is it pretty much you only are hearing from people, on the Dragons staff if you're in high A, for instance?
Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of how it works. Pretty much just our guys inside the Dragons organization. You might have some guys, some rovers come in and stuff like that, or that have been watching the game because they always watch the games, and they'll put their input in, and like I worked with Eric Davis a lot this year, and I
Nice.
worked with him, Kevin Mahar a lot, and it was just really good stuff from those guys, and being able to talk to those guys who've been through it. And Barry Larkin was a big one for me. Both both kind of being a little bit similar in terms of like what we want to do hitting, but picking their minds has just been great. And those are kind of the guys we hear from outside of the Dragons.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good input. So back to kind of on going through the roster a little bit. Is there anyone that you would say stood out this year on the Dragons that you were or that got called up, et cetera, that you were just really impressed by this year that kind of stood out among the rest, I guess?
Yeah, I hate to nitpick because there's a bunch of guys
Yeah, you
that
guys were
stood out.
stacked.
Yeah, we had a bunch of guys, but I'd probably say Cam. I spent a lot of time with Cam. We roomed together on the road. We were rooming together at home, so we spent a lot of time together. We always talked baseball, and we were just really close. And I think just the way he was able to kind of regroup after that little stretch, and just hone into what he did best, driving in runs and hitting the ball in the gaps, and being able to kind of play his role on defense, but just the impact that he brought with the bat, and then just that crazy stretch where he went on with the walks, and he just really turned it on, flipped a switch. So I think he was really good. But I can't forget about my guy Sal too. So Sal's just consistent, and he can just swing the stick and he can get it done. So he's just an all around baseball player. Both my guys.
Yeah, those are two guys I love watching for sure. Cam's 3 home run game was incredible.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
Sal, obviously he got injured too, in the season, but I mean, it seems like he's just all you look at his stats and he's always consistently whatever 275 to
yeah,
300 hitting
yeah. Every
balls in the
time.
gaps and that type of thing. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, would you have ever guessed after obviously Rhett Lauder starting the season at high A, would you have ever guessed he would have ended the year in the majors? Obviously he probably had some kind of a track, but even when he first got to double A, he was obviously really struggling. But what did you in your brief time seeing Lauder, were you pretty impressed with him down there?
Yeah,
Guys?
yeah, he was really good. We actually, me and him, room, we lived together in spring training, so
Okay.
I picked his brain in spring training a little bit and saw the way he worked out, and he was in big league camp, so just walking around the facilities and stuff like that, seeing him throw lives to those guys, I never felt like he was not supposed to be there ever. Like
Yeah.
he was just always that guy that kind of just consistent, always going to throw strikes, and his stuff was going to play around the zone every time. So I wasn't surprised that he got called up to Double A, and then seeing him get called up to Triple A, and I started questioning some of his teammates, like, dude, he might make his debut this year, and sure enough, he did. So it was cool to see that guy have some success at the big league level and go through the minor leagues the way he did.
Yeah, I was gonna say you get so close with these guys. Obviously, you want to do it yourself and get called up and do this, but I'm sure it's like seeing your brothers get called up, because again, how much time you're spending with them on the bus and in
Yeah,
the locker room and all of that kind of stuff. I'm sure that's really cool to go through.
yeah, exactly. It's just a numerous amount of guys that I was able to do that with this year. So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I won't keep you much longer here, but kind of going into back kind of towards you in your season and your off season. Going right now, obviously you said in the off season there's a couple things you're wanting to work at. Is there any goals that you have for 2025 as a whole that you've set so far? You kind of just want to go into the off season to see where the Reds want to start you at in 2025 and then go from there. Or do you have any actual goals set already, or what do you kind of see for 2025?
Yeah, obviously my number one goal is just to stay healthy, stay on the field as much as possible. Hopefully with no kinks or anything in there, I would love to kind of get the bags up more than my first year. This year kind of had a knee nagging thing that kind of slowed me down a little bit, but hopefully finish around 65. I love to be over 50. I think that's a pretty easy mark that I should hit every year, and that this year being down, it kind of stayed with me a little bit that I didn't hit that, but just trying to get the bags up and just trying to increase my number of doubles every time. I know I can hit a lot of singles and stuff like that, but I really am just trying to work on driving the ball the other way, trying to use that right field gap as much as possible to open up the pull side for myself, and that's just main focus, just become a better hitter with those things.
Yeah, that's great, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I think one of your one of the things you do best is kind of the combination of speed and power, which is pretty rare in today's game. And the guys that do have that, they have a lot of success. But one other thing that just popped in my head that I thought I'd ask you about is it feels like even when you were kind of slumping in the middle of the season, every other game you'd try to drop down a bunt and you'd have some good success, dropping it down the third baseline and using your speed to get on base. Do you feel like that's just a big part of your game, and how to, another way to get on base even when you may be struggling or even when you're not struggling, just catching the defense kind of off guard a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Just being able to do that just makes you a better baseball player, makes you more valuable. And I think when you're scuffling, when you're going through those times, most guys don't have that opportunity to lay that bunt down. So I'm thankful that I can, and we talk a lot about using that to my advantage, and that's kind of the thing I did this year that kind of helped me a lot get back
Yeah,
on track.
it's kind of a lost art. You don't see, I mean, guys don't even sacrifice bunt anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
but you look like a guy like TJ Friedel on the major league level, and he had I think 15 plus bunt hits last
right.
year at the major league level. So you're right. I
Yeah.
mean, it really is a weapon if you can get it down, and kind of a lost art, I feel like. But
Yeah, me and OD, Ethan O'Donnell would always be like, we might not got to hit the first one, be in the outfield, be like, hey, I'm laying a bunt down. He'd be like, yeah, me too. So it was just it's cool going back and forth with that guy because that guy could really lay it down for sure.
yeah, that's another guy that at the end of the year he just went on an absolute tear.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was. It was fun to see. Good guy.
Awesome. Well, Jay, I won't keep you any longer. I appreciate you joining. I appreciate you joining here. For all you Reds fans watching, keep up with Jay. Hopefully, he starts the season in Double A next year with the Lookouts. At least maybe higher, who knows? But Jay, appreciate it. If you guys have made it this far, if you could leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, that'd be awesome. But Jay, like I said, appreciate you joining, and we'll leave it at that. And go Reds.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Greg.